I gotta admit, social media's made me a lot better. When you get a bigger following and you put something out there, there's a lot more eyeballs looking at you to call you out on it or ask you questions about it, and you got to know more about something. I'm kind of excited. Are you excited?
Welcome to the Lift Heavy Swing Fast podcast,
Yes.
formerly known as the Shoot It Straight podcast. I almost said that, and then I remembered we were switching it up.
Oh, you did? You almost messed it
Well,
up.
yeah, honestly, I got used to saying welcome to the Shoot It Straight podcast.
Yeah, and you kind of had your voice down and everything.
I know,
so.
I had it down, so that's going to be a thing for a couple of episodes. But welcome back, you guys.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited to start doing this. To be honest, I didn't know we had that many people listening and enjoying. You get the view counts and things like that, but you don't know how much people actually listened. Maybe they just clicked on it for a few seconds and then clicked away. But the amount of people that messaged us, email, direct messages on social media that were wondering about when season 2 was going to come out or when more episodes were coming shocked me a little bit, and pleasantly.
No, I mean, yeah, I think we are excited to be back. We had every intention of coming back as soon as we moved into our new space, which is doesn't maybe look like a new space, but it's a new space. We built out our podcast studio first thing, and we'll update everybody on what we've been up to the last 7-8 months since our last podcast episode aired. But yeah, I mean, we never started this podcast, nor did we restart this podcast with the intentions of, having a famous podcast with hundreds of thousands of listeners. It's for us, we're always trying to add value to the folks that are out there in this industry and looking to get, whether your goal is to be in the golf fitness space or you're a golf fitness client or you're curious about golf fitness and nutrition and then like all the things in between that are related to that, we're just here to like kind of have conversations around that stuff. And I think our intentions are the exact same. Our name is new, but we really just kind of wanted to align our name with the podcast with the name of our brand and just kind of keep things streamlined. So that's why we decided to kind of, selfishly for like SEO search purposes, it's just really a lot easier for people to find us when everything is the same versus like, what's the name of their podcast and all that kind of stuff. So we're just trying to keep it simple.
And some people actually called it the Lift Heavy Swing Fast podcast when they were messaging me about it.
Yes.
And when I said it out loud, it sounds good. Lift
Yes.
Heavy Swing Fast podcast. And,
yes.
And I think since what was it, 7-8 months ago, last time we did an episode, we've actually changed our entire brand name to Lift Heavy Swing Fast. It was previously Cody Wescott Golf Fitness, which is just kind of a mouthful and not that cool. And now we made it Lift Heavy Swing Fast is our entire brand. So like all of our products, all of our programming. I have a social media handle, Lift Heavy Swing Fast, which doesn't do a whole lot yet. But yeah, everything is Lift Heavy Swing Fast, no longer just my name, which is cool.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess we'll get that out of the way. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. You can now find us on liftheavyswingfast.com. So we're just kind of, as we evolve in business and we're figuring it out as we go, as you all very much know, that's where we're at in 2025. And we're excited to kind of keep elevating and keep growing and keep providing you guys with really good content. On that note, as far as like what we've been up to, I mean, gosh, it's like everything and nothing at the same time. I think the last time again that we aired, we were in our old space. We've moved into a new space, still in Oklahoma, but we've got a home gym basically built out for the most part for Cody to have all the space for his content and his things and some of his clients that are here in Tulsa in Oklahoma. But we are very much loving our new spot and where we're at and building our house, making it a home. We're not building a house, but we're making our house a home is what I meant.
It was already assembled, but yeah.
Yeah, it was assembled.
Yeah, we've done a lot of things already. We're actually doing more. We just decided to add in some golf stuff. I'll probably show that later on social media, how cool that's going to be when it's completed. But it's just great being in the business that we are in, and especially what I do, being the guy in the gym with the tripod, making videos and things like that. Now I just do it in my own private space that looks nice. I have everything I need, so I don't have to be that person in the gym filming all the time, and I want to start talking more on camera during exercise, demonstrating more. I think there's a need for that out there. I know that what was popular for a while was just like, hey, here's this exercise, give it a try, but I believe that people want more information now. So kind of taking a deeper dive into exercise, being able to talk through it, and you really just can't do that in a in a public gym without being a nuisance to other people, and kind of, it is kind of rude. I think, you're making other people feel uncomfortable when they're at the gym. They're a paying member too, so you have no right to kind of infringe on them a little bit. Not saying everyone has a problem with that or anything, but it's just so much nicer to have your own space to be able to do it, and we love it.
Yeah, totally. And for those that are in our programs, they've seen elevated videos. Cody's been putting so much work into that and just continuing, honestly, like never stopping creating content. So even when we say create content, doesn't even mean social media content. Sometimes it's literally, filming for clients and doing new movements and doing, I know you've gone back and forth with putting voiceovers over different videos. And we've been working with another videographer, photographer, and just, this is a space where you have to just constantly provide in the service industry. And I think that's what makes us stand out, is we're never like stopping that. We value all of our clients and the people that have come into our ecosystem. And we're proud of what we do for that ecosystem. And so, yeah, it's cool to be able to like invest in that and put the time in. And so that was another thing with stepping away from the podcast. I mean, I personally was taking a break, like stepping back from certain things of our business because of other work obligations that I decided to take on over this past year, which became like extremely consuming, like full transparency. And so it's cool for me to like kind of dive back in as well. I'm still nutrition coaching a handful of clients that I've had for a really long time, which has been awesome. And again, that's something that we like will continue to provide, like our elite player program coaching clients should they ever want that. We're elevating some of our one-on-one services and bringing some of that back into the mix. And so, yeah, we're just here to like try and always evolve and change. And when you guys ask and give feedback, it's very helpful and important because we listen to it and it helps us know like where to go.
100%. Yeah. I mean, so we've just reopened our elite player program where I'm taking some one-on-one clients. I only got a few spots left if you're interested when this comes out. But yeah, just the whole experience that we're trying to bring to our programming, one-on-one or one-to-many, whatever product that you, or whatever program that you get into of mine, like we are just doing everything we possibly can to make it the best available, because it is, when you're doing an online program, it is challenging. There are a lot of questions that come up because there's not a personal trainer there with you by your side every single second of your workout to help you through it. So, we're just always trying to find ways to answer the question before it even has to be asked in all of our programs.
Yes. Yeah, it's important to stay a step ahead. This industry is growing, which again, I think is always a good thing for us. Like we like to see new trainers in the space because it like makes us stay better. Competition makes the cream rise to the top. So like fuck yes to that as far as like the industry goes, but it's important to stay one or two steps ahead. And again, like just back to being open to evolving and changing. Like I cannot stress that enough for people that are like in this space and people that own businesses and are operating businesses. Like if your shit is not changing, like it will pass you and it will come and go, and like Blockbuster, you will literally be wiped out. Like, so, yeah, it's cool to like, we've touched so many clients now across the globe. It's really cool to like kind of have had so many touch points and been working with so many different types of people to like have that data to look at and like understand what people need.
And I think that brings us into our like topic today, and we've already kind of been hitting on it, but we haven't told people what our topic of this podcast is going to be yet.
Which is
how online training makes you a much better trainer.
Yes.
I was a trainer in person for over 10 years. Erika was a trainer as well. And there's just a total different level that you have to be at to be an online trainer, because like I alluded to a minute ago, if you are as a one-on-one trainer in person, you're with that person for every single second of their workout. It's easy to answer their questions. It's easier to keep them accountable. Motivation, selecting weights, like you name it, whatever question you can possibly think of, right? The trainer's right there for you. So you kind of make a list of all these things, like essentially problems that people could possibly run into in an online program or just in a normal session. And you make sure that you touch on that in the remote program every way you possibly can to just give the person on the other end, the athlete that is doing the program, every chance they possibly have to be successful at it. Yes. And I think that's been something that I've learned tremendously over, there's thousands of people now that have came through our programs, not 1,000 people all at once, but I mean, there's been a ton of people now that have been in and out of our programs, and they not all of them engage and ask questions, but a lot of them do. So I've gained it. And, and we always take all these questions. Like there is no quote unquote stupid question, although there are stupid questions, but you take down everything that comes up for people, and you just kind of make a list, and that goes into your programs of how that can be fixed next time. That way that person, when another person just like them shows up, they don't have to, be stuck on that question.
Yeah, I mean, for those that don't know the story, like the high level is we started out in person. We wanted to touch more people. We brought that online. Online coaching crushed, especially during COVID. There was definitely an uptick in that. People were seeking whatever they could as far as like being able to train, and online was the space. We got that exposure. We got our programs out there. We got bodies doing our programs. But you can't, it's, the cart coming before the horse or whatever. Like the in-person was a necessity in order to be able to effectively online coach, because you can't
Absolutely.
just like, I can't imagine. I don't know what that's like because we've never done it, but starting
I'm sure
an
people
online,
have now.
for sure they have. And so, there's you got to walk before you run, all the things. And so now that's also why though, when the pendulum swings, like people are seeking a little bit more. Our clients specifically, certain people want more. They want more one-on-one. They want more intensive coaching. And that's also why like we've come back to like the sort of meet in the middle approach of like one-on-one coaching, mostly done remotely in our business, but being able to offer products to the folks that have gone in and out of our programs or in our programs that are like wanting to go like to the next level.
Yeah.
And so that's just kind of been, and we're proud now to offer a lot more options. I don't think we talked about like how we're selling PDF programs now too, for people that like maybe aren't as interested in, a subscription service, but they just like want to have a program that they can look to for a specific season during the year or whatever. They're trying to do a 12-week off season program. Cool. We got that, So being able to offer like more of these products has been, again, like just something that we can help more people with because we have more options.
Mm-hmm. And I'm shocked because when I first started training, I was tearing out pages of Muscle and Fitness magazine, like literal physical pages out of a magazine, pieces of paper, carrying those around in the gym. And people still want to walk around the gym with pieces of paper. So that's why we did the PDFs, because they're like, hey, I don't want to bring my phone to the gym. I'm like, wow, I admire that. Like, that's actually kind of cool. They don't want to have their phone. They don't want to be on their phone. Like, they're away from it. Like, leave it alone. Maybe it's for work. I don't know exactly why these reasons are, but for whatever it is, they don't want to bring their phone into the gym. And so we're like, okay, cool. Here's these PDF programs. You can print them out on physical pieces of paper if you want, and take those to the gym with you. And I admire that a little bit, because that's kind of awesome.
They could be printing them out. They also could just be using their phones too, or like having a screenshot of something. I think, honestly, I get it. When you're typing stuff into an app, it can be really distracting, and it can bring you to your phone after every set. And maybe you're not wanting to do that necessarily. And it's a little easier to just like write your program up on your whiteboard at your home gym, or take a screenshot on your phone of just like the 5 sets or whatever, the 5 segments that you're doing in that workout. So those people could potentially not necessarily be carrying around a piece of paper. And it's not that funny. I mean, I still see like bodybuilders with like their little steno notebooks or whatever. I believe, Jeff, like we've got friends of ours that are our age that do that shit. So, I mean, I get it. Like I get like,
Yeah.
I get it. So it's about having options, but like for us too, it was more of we want people to be able to have a product that they have lifetime access to it. They're not necessarily paying a subscription. It's like just a little bit more flexible in that way. And so, there's just a lot of like, there's pluses and minuses to both sides. Again, like some people love the app, love being able to keeps them accountable. They've got the group chat in our app. They can track their progress linearly over, week over week. Like a lot more easily in one space. But, I think we've truly seen like a 50-50 split as far as like what people prefer.
Yeah. I mean, some people want the subscription on like a live calendar, where that kind of helps hold you accountable. There's a community always doing the same workout as you on that same day. Some people like to, have something where they can always go back to day one if they need to. And it just depends what's going to be the most optimal for you. And that's one thing when I'm working with my new elite players that I've started working with. I said, hey, one of the best things about working one-on-one is that there is an optimal way to train for your schedule, for your lifestyle, whatever comes up for you. And that's what's cool about working one-on-one, because we can change it on the fly. You know, if you got sick these 2 days, okay, cool. Here's what we're going to do. When you get back, we're going to ease you back into it. And then here's going to be the workout you're going to do. Oh, you had some family thing come up. Okay, you missed your workout that day. And some people like to think, you know, that the entire week of training is kind of thrown off, but you know, that's one part of working one-on-one is we can fix that. We can adapt and we can still make it the optimal for what time you have, for whatever happens in your schedule, what happens to your life, how you feel, all that kind of stuff. So there's just pros and cons. There's just pros to all of it.
Pros to all of it, and
Pros,
cons to
but
all
there's
of it.
also cons. But
There's
I mean,
two sides.
But there's pros and cons. But I mean, there's good things about each one, and it just depends on the kind of person you are and what kind of help you need, and just how you're going to be the most successful is what always matters the most.
Well, yeah, and like, I mean, the elephant in the room is like the budget too, right? Like, Elite One-on-One coaching is not a cheap program. It's not something that everyone can necessarily afford, and we acknowledge that. That was why we started doing programming online in the first place, is because, one, there wasn't enough of you to go around to do in-person training for as much people as we wanted to coach. There's only so many hours in a day. But then two, it's like, well, it's not affordable for everyone to hire someone for $100+ per session week after week after week. So it's important to have, you know, a good product mix, and we're glad that we've been able to offer it. And I think back to like the point of, you know, this particular episode and making ourselves, you know, better coaches week after week after week. It's like we've touched a lot of people at this point from a programming standpoint. And when you have a sample size that's like so much bigger, that gives us that many more reps, as opposed to like if you're just doing one-on-one and you're only like kind of restricting yourselves, even if you're online coaching and you've got a good book of 30 clients, which is awesome, you're not seeing the hundreds and hundreds of clients every month that we are, where we're able to kind of say, there are people that do well with this. There's, oh, this is a gap in our programming that we don't offer for, oh, here's some beginner stuff that we need to like bring up because there's some people that haven't worked out in a long time. And so yeah, I mean, like we've just kind of been able to study like the fitness industry as a whole over the years. And I think that's just made us like better at what we do.
For sure. And I got to admit, social media has made me a lot better, you know, getting out there, putting your stuff out there, because, you know, when you get a bigger following and you put something out there, there's a lot more eyeballs looking at you to call you out on it or ask you questions about it. And you got to know more about something than just throwing it out there like you would, you know, to your one-on-one client who just kind of trusts you, like no matter what. There's people out there that, you know, want to ask questions. They may not believe what you're saying. And then you also get people that forward you things that other trainers are doing. And, you know, sometimes it may be good. And then sometimes it's, wow, like that was a good idea. Like that should be something that I want to try that. Like that's something maybe I've never heard of. You know, how could that, and sometimes it's not from, and typically it's not from other golf trainers. Like someone will send me something from someone that's totally off the wall, you know, trains like combat athletes or something like that. And I'm like, wow, that could actually work for golfers too. So you really learn a lot, and then you've got to look it up. You've got to try it yourself. I think that's the thing I always do is, even though something may look cool or it may sound like it's going to work out for a golfer or, you know, any kind of athlete, and then I go try it out in the gym and I'm like, that doesn't really work that well. It looks cool, but that doesn't really, I mean, and if I can't do it well, you know, and I'm not saying I'm the most coordinated person on earth, but I do fitness for a living. And if I try this funky, cool exercise and I can't get it right in a few tries, why would I program it to people that, you know, aren't spending their entire day in the gym like I do?
100%.
So it's just cool that you can be pushed by other people that are out there. You can always like kind of learn like, that may not really work, or wow, that's cool, and let's give that a shot. And then once I try it, I may or may not like program it for my athletes.
It's a giant experiment.
It really is. I mean, I think what's really cool about fitness and what's really cool about golf too is it is a lot of trial and error. And golf, you got to do more trial and error than anything. Like a golfer knows this with their golf swing, like messing with it. Like, okay, that's might work, but then can I take that out to the course? Is that going to really be something I can use all the time? And same thing. And golfers are interesting because we're not just in other fitness things, in other fitness programs, the goal is basically just the workout and to look good afterwards, right? Like that's pretty much it. Golf is, hey, we're going to work out, we're going to train, and then we need to be able to go do our sport afterwards. And then people want to know, okay, what should I do before? It's like, well, there's trial and error. Some people do well doing just a bunch of cardio before their workout or before a round of golf. Like Tiger Woods used to just run a lot. Some people like to do like explosive workouts before they go play golf. Some people need to completely rest. Some people need to stretch. And how do they figure out what's best for them? It's trial and error. right? So it kind of is all just like kind of one big experiment.
Totally. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think we
Mm.
are always like within the age of information, we're always looking for like the answer. And it's just so important to understand that like, you know, studies can support so many different things that are contradictory. And you do have to kind of tune in to your body and understand like what your need and what you need, where you're at, time of day to train, time of day you play golf, like all the fucking things, levels of stress, like how much time you have per week to dedicate to things. I mean, everybody's is different. It's 100% different, and that's like totally fucking okay. Which again is why it's important, like for us to offer a lot of different options for people so that they can kind of find what works best for them.
Yeah.
So, with that, we just kind of wanted to keep this episode short and sweet and welcome y'all back to the show. And we're excited to be back on the show. LiftHeavySwingFast.com is now where you can find literally all the things. Go check it out. We've got our content, our YouTube channel, our podcast, all of it linked there.
Blogs.
The blogs that we're cranking out like on a weekly basis. And also, like, if you're not a part of our email newsletter list, do get on that so you can basically get notified of all of those things whenever we're pushing out content. We really do not spam people. We're only like putting out the good stuff when we're emailing people. So that's kind of that is that. But that's it. We're signing off today.
Yeah. Thanks, guys, for listening. And thank you guys for the support for season 2.